Jessie, ooh, VBS. I just turn the water on. Big old flex. She never saw before. Chasing me like waterfall. Jessie, ooh. What's up, guys? It's your sister, Jessie Woo. Welcome back to another episode of Just a Couple Things, y'all. Your favorite podcast hosted by me, your sister, Jessie Woo. Listen, before we continue with this episode, are you subscribed? Go ahead and subscribe, okay? Go down to the Spotify people, find Just a Couple Things, hit follow. Go down to the Apple Podcast people thingy, find Just a Couple Things, hit follow. And if you're here on YouTube, make sure that you hit follow as well. Subscribe to my channel so you can see me visually, okay? Don't you see how cute I look? Hello? All right. Without further ado, y'all, this is a very, very special episode. I am beyond excited to be supporting the third season of my favorite show, Reasonable Doubt, on Hulu, now streaming, okay? Y'all know this is my show, okay? And so in support of the third season, we are going to have a few of the cast members stop by for surprising, riveting, engaging interviews, darling. And today is the first one. We have two very special guests from the cast. So without further ado, let's get into them. Now, for the first guest, I have writer, I have showrunner, I have creator, the one, the only, the iconic Miss Ramala Mohammed. How are you doing?
Hello. Good. How are you? I've missed your singing. I know Morris Chestnut has too.
Listen, that was like my finest moment in life. Singing for Morris Chestnut and doing it for Reasonable Doubt, the second season. Like, come on now. I'm the favorite in the family group chat. Just know. And it's
I will say that was a very iconic moment, and I loved it. I loved it. And thank you so much for you've been such just a dedicated fan and supporter of the show since the beginning. So we all appreciate it.
Thank you. I remember when before season 2 was announced, I had put somewhere, I was like, where is this show? Where is Reasonable Doubt? That first season was so fire. And then, the second season comes, and I was blessed and honored to be able to have the after show and to talk to you guys every week. So it's such a blessing to come back and to see this show come back. And I love that y'all did it rapidly, because y'all knew the streets needed, like, Raamla, you knew the streets needed this season 3. Okay.
Yeah, no, and people were like, when is it filming? When is it coming out? I was like, okay, like, I can't, it's not magic. It has to actually, be written and filmed and edited. But, we did our best.
Well, you did a wonderful job. I've had the pleasure of pre-screening a couple episodes. So let's jump right on in. Let's go. Reasonable Doubt season 3. What makes this season the best season yet? I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun and say this is the best season.
Oh, I love it.
I've seen so far.
Oh, thank you. This is my favorite season. I think there are a lot of things that excite me about this season. And even like just crafting the show and thinking about the show, from the pilot, it's always been a love story in reverse. So it's exciting to see Jackson Lewis kind of coming out of that, fog and going into a more healed place and seeing them have this kind of fun relationship. It doesn't mean there's no drama. There's still, stuff they have to deal with, but it at least it's the relationship is stronger and it's enjoyable to see. So I love that. Also, the case is very compelling, and there are a lot more suspects of who did what and questions about the client, and we just have some really fantastic actors coming in, some guest actors, it's just I'm very excited. I'm excited Morris could come back with us for a few episodes.
Yes, God. Ramala, we thank you. There's a special place in heaven for you, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah. So that, and then of course we have Joseph Sikora joining the cast, and he's
incredible.
Just, he's incredible. I've been so blessed because with Michael Ealy, Morris Chestnut, Joseph Sikora, like that kind of number 3 on the call sheet kind of position. Everyone has always come in, it's been seamless, just vibing with everyone, and also just watching, the three of them just kind of do some of their best work and really bring it and be dedicated as actors to these characters.
Well, let me ask you something. So for this season, do you mind just telling us the plot without telling us too much? And what was your inspiration behind this season's case?
So the case is there is an actor named Ozzy Edwards, and he is going through a situation, I guess I'll say, with his girlfriend, and that he kind of comes into Jax's life that way. He is, he's in his mid-20s. He kind of he was a child actor. He's trying to find his way into adult acting, but he has his "Pow Pow Gotcha" slogan that everyone knows. And so he's this lovable child star, but there's this darkness behind him, and we kind of get to know his family and the people around him and see like why that is. But basically, this is the client that Jax is dealing with. So a lot of it is trying to figure out what's really going on with him. Oh, did he actually do the crime? Was there maybe someone else around him who did this? And it's very twisty this season. I feel like you're gonna think but you don't know. And so as far as like inspiration, I knew that at some point I wanted to do a story that was based in Hollywood, because the show takes place in LA, and Hollywood is obviously a big part of Los Angeles, and so wanted to see what happens if Jax were to take on an actor and what that world would be, because we haven't been in that world yet. So it's fun in that way, but there's also, like Reasonable Doubt does, serious issues that we're dealing with this season, like addiction and abuse. And so it's an emotional season, but it's also a sexy season, twisty season. So there's a lot going on.
We start off the season with Jax wanting more excitement, which I found very insane, because I'm like, girl, you just went through this with your best friend. Last season, we saw you fighting for your life with your best friend. And now it seems as though like she sees where Corey Cash's, career is going, all the attention he's getting. And maybe inside she's wanting that, and she feels that, okay, all these settlements, it's not giving me the ability to show my how I can go for the jugular in the courtroom. Can you kind of talk us through why you have Jax starting off with that mindset?
Yeah, I think with Jax, right? She is, we've seen she struggled with smoking, right? And there's an addictive personality there. And I also think someone like her, I think of her as an athlete. Right? Someone, the courtroom is her court or her field.
Her boxing ring.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's where she thrives, and that's the adrenaline that she gets from, being at the top of her game and being able to perform that way. So for her, doing settlements here, pleas here, or whatever it is, that doesn't give her, her adrenaline. So that was kind of, it's an interesting thing of she likes her drama in the courtroom, right? She don't like it outside the courtroom if she can help it.
But she got a lot of drama outside the courtroom too. Yeah, into that.
Yeah, but she wants to, she wants to be able to do her job and be good at her job and have that excitement defending clients. So I think that anyone who performs at a high level like that, they don't want to be dormant. They want to be able to do what they do. LeBron doesn't want to retire. Yeah, he wants to play.
True. We see her, you kind of touched on this, but we see her deal with, there's so many issues in this season, but we see her deal with, like, her dad comes back. We see her deal with her child. I don't want to give away too much, but there's a moment where her daughter she getting locked up. There's a moment where we see Jax deal with racism at work. We see her deal with sexism with Bill coming in, Joseph Sikora's character coming in. We see so much happening just with her. What was your intention this season with Jax's character having to deal with so much internally, especially like as a Black woman? We kind of finally hear her have that moment where she talks about, as a Black woman, this, like,
Right.
what was your intention? What was your intention with that?
Well, I think we've seen, the other seasons, we've seen little sprinkles, right, of her, the work, politics, and some of the dynamics. But I do think that for me, what's interesting is that, and I think most women, particularly Black women, can relate to this, which is like, when will people stop questioning me? When will people start trusting me? When will I get the respect that I deserve? And I saw Beyonce's Renaissance, the concert movie, behind the scenes of Renaissance, and I just was like, man, I was like, Beyonce is still trying to convince people that she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what say, so I don't think it stops. And so I wanted to explore that with Jax. And you think, well, damn, why is she still being questioned, or why is it still happening? It's like, because it just does. It still does, particularly for Black women, we are still questioned. Kamala Harris, still, is she qualified? So it's so I felt like that was in the air in general, and I wanted to, kind of shine a light on that. And it was a storyline that I always kind of knew I wanted to explore further. That's why I was kind of putting crumbs in, but I was like, let's just put it more in the forefront. And also, how does she deal with all this stuff? Look, you can go through therapy and heal yourself or whatever, but that doesn't mean the drama stops. Now it's about, how are you going to deal with it? How are you going to, what boundaries are you going to put up? How are you going to protect yourself and your mental health? And how are you going to handle it?
Yeah. Do you feel that in your career, as successful as you've been, do you feel that there are still those types of moments for you and other women who stand beside you and do the same thing? Do you feel like in Hollywood, you guys are still having those moments where you're still being questioned?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, when I got the Essence Award, I was talking about this journalist who asked me where I came from. I just kind of came out of nowhere, the first season of Reasonable Doubt. And I was like, I've been a television writer for 10 years.
Did you not pull out your resume? Girl, hold on. Let me get my scroll out. Cause see.
No, I mean, but it's, it's because people either make assumptions of how old I am, or just kind of like, okay, so you have this show, and there's just more questions, right, about certain things. And I definitely, there's a group of, I just was at a dinner with a group of female showrunners and who are very experienced, some of them more than me with bigger shows, who are still getting questioned about if they know what's going on. So, and these weren't all Black, these are all different races of female showrunners. So, I do think that we feel that way. And I think a lot of women feel that way in all different careers. Yeah. It's still so many barriers. Speaking about barriers, just revisiting the storyline a little bit more. So Ozzy is in a relationship, without giving too much away. He's in a relationship with, oh my gosh, I done forgot her name. I'm so sorry. Wendy. He's in a relationship with Wendy, and Wendy is played by Rumor Willis. How did that happen? How did she audition?
Really?
She auditioned.
Amazing.
Yeah, a lot of the actors audition. I mean, our Erica Arvold, our Atlanta casting director, who's great. She was like, I got some auditions, and she's like, and Rumor Willis auditioned, and you should watch it. She's really good. And I was like, what'd you say? Like, what? Right. So I said, okay. And I watched it, and I was like, wow, yeah, she was really good. And cast her. Like, it just is, it it was, I hate to say that easy, but it really was. And came and she was, delightful. She spent, there was like one day she came in and she had to take pictures for the crime scene and then and then be alive and the whole day of, makeup in and out. And she just was such a trooper and great about it.
So good. You have Rumor Willis, you have Cash Doll who comes in. What was Cash Doll like? I feel like I see her playing a character, but also what I like about her is she just brings herself also to the role. And I really enjoy that.
Well, so I met her actually through her manager, and she kind of reached out through Instagram. And so we had a couple Zooms, and I was like, "Oh, I think I have a character that I think would be, good for you to play." And she was just so excited. She's a BMF. She's serious about getting into acting and really doing more roles. And she just came and she brought it, and she to your point, like she kind of there was a line. I think the line to something else or whatever, and she said to the officer, like, she's like, and she's white, or something. And she kind of like did it like that. And it was like, it was like, that works great.
The press conference scene too.
Yes.
I was like, come on, Cash, you better deliver them lines.
And later she's in an episode later where she takes the stand. And she's really good. I really, like I said, whether it's, Cash Doll or Rumor or, Lori Harvey coming, they came in and, just were so dedicated to the character and playing the role. And for me, that's what's the most important to me. And it's exciting to see people see them in, kind of a different light.
Yeah. Yeah. Cordell from Love Island.
Cordell, yeah. So, so I have to be honest, I don't watch Love Island.
Don't. It takes over your whole life. It takes over your entire life.
I know that I will, like, me and TV have an addictive quality. So I actually have to, like, kind of sometimes
pull back.
Really, think about. So I saw how many episodes. I said, I will abandon everyone I love and I will sit here and watch all this. So I've had to keep my distance. But one of our producers, Will McDonald, his name, Cordell's name popped up on kind of one of the roles, and he was like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Cordell." He's like, and I said, "Whoa, okay." I said, "Wait a minute, I was like, who is this?" And then so he showed me the Instagram. He's like, "Love Island" and all this stuff, and he auditioned, and he was great and so lovely. He plays one of Ozzy's friends who comes in an episode. Yeah, and he basically plays, he's Cordell. Like, we just were like Cordell because, part of it is kind of meta because Ozzy's an actor, so it's kind of like who would be his, kind of friends and
good.
Hanging out with,
I really love this for Cordell because I've heard him talk about how he wanted to take acting seriously, and it's so hard a lot of times to go from reality to scripted. So I'm really excited to see how he does. Now,
and what's exciting is that this is what I say about this show, right? Is that there are so many roles for Black actors in this show, right? So I can actually cast experienced actors who've been in things who haven't gotten a chance to shine, or this may be the biggest role that they're doing, who can bring that. But at the same time, I still have room for people who are trying to get into acting and go further in their career. And it all works out.
Okay, hopefully that'll be me next season, Lord. I pray I get a little scene next season, Raamla.
Listen. Let's pray for that next season too, season 4.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, I know it's coming already. It's announced. Okay. Speaking of actors, I really was looking forward to seeing Joseph Sikora, who's going to be joining us in a little bit. But Joseph Secora, I'm so used to seeing him in a certain light.
As Tommy?
Yes. And then in this show, I'm like, oh, you got more to you. Like you have it going on. Talk to me about Joseph's character without giving too much away, and why was he perfect for the role of Bill?
I felt like what was great about it is that in some ways, because I was a huge Power fan, so I watched, all the Power, and he's so Tommy, he empowered that role. But when he and I talked, that's not who he is. Like, obviously, as like a human. And I've seen him in, a couple other things. And he loved the show. And he has this very like kind of earnest, lovely nature about him. And he like excited kind of, inner energy. And so I was like, what's great is that because Bill, you're not really sure where he's going to be in some ways, like, Joseph gets to play this kind of earnest, trying to do the right thing, but he's also bringing Tommy, so that you're kind of projecting a little bit of like what's going on with him. So as much as the character Bill wants to do the right thing, when he doesn't quite do it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there you are, you are. That's that Tommy coming out, maybe, And so he's very good at kind of towing the line, and I think, particularly in, episode 3, without spoiling it, but I know you've seen, it's a struggle for him. He has some things in his personal life that are driving him to do the things that he is doing. And he struggles to figure out, what side to be on.
Why have Bill's character follow a character like Corey Cash in that setting for Jax?
Well, the Corey Cash character was coming in, and, that character was more about Jax trying to figure out how to play the number 2 position because of what she had gone through, in addition to Chanel being her friend and being too close to it. So that was what, and Corey had this kind of, alpha energy that Jax was trying to manage. And then, of course, last season was also about, there's a little bit of sexual tension between them. So, that's why Morris was great for that, because he brings this inherent likability in addition to, obviously, like the kind of chemistry that they had. But for me, like, now we're in season 3, it's not about, Jax and some other guy, like, it's not about, her cheating or will they, won't they kind of thing. So for me, I was like, I want to see a true work nemesis, and kind of play more that angle, particularly since this season, the work politics are more the focal point of the story than in another season.
One last Corey Cash question, because you kind of touched on it. There's something that the audience has been dying for when it comes to Jackson and Corey, and you ain't give that to us this season.
Well, what has the audience been dying for?
You know what the audience is dying for.
Nope, Jessie. No. No. Here's the thing. I will say this. I do think, I remember last season kind of following and seeing what people were thinking, and I think people were like, "Girl, just do it, girl. Just do it."
Do us a solid, Ramla. Do us a solid.
But people were very happy that she walked out of that conference room, including me. It was time to stop being messy. You can't, like, it's tit for tat. And so for me, I wanted to show, look at you. I wanted to show maturity.
I love mess, Ramla. I love mess.
I know, but Jessie, maturity.
I know.
It's stronger to walk away, and dedicate. She can't go with Corey and do it. If she's really going to dedicate herself to Lewis, and they have a great marriage, they have a great foundation. And I think it was important to me to show, like, they just have to kind of commit to that. And I think what's great this season is that you get to see them have fun. You get to see their sexiness, McKinley's sexiness, and Miati's sexiness, to, them together. They're beautiful, like, to be on a wedding cake.
Yes.
Couple. So, and they have fun, they have a fun together. So yeah, it's nice to kind of see all that happen.
Yeah. What we don't get with Corey, we do get with Lewis and Tony, kind of. What was my head was hurting watching episode 3. Like that.
Oh, but yeah, episode two.
Episode 2. That just
Mhm.
that episode, and then the moment where we see, without giving too much away, but the moment where we see basically,
Flashback.
yeah, Lewis and Tony have their moment of closure.
Yeah.
But obviously he had to orchestrate it with Jax's help.
Right. Right.
And it was basically all about Tony kind of still having that last bit of hope that she could still have Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
was the why did it just it just feels like this roller coaster, but also it speaks to something that happens every day. Why tell that story?
Well, because for me, it always was that Tony, obviously Jaden dying was difficult for Tony, but also when Lewis said, I can't go to the memorial or whatever it is, I think that Tony really realized that she was losing him as well. I think there was this hope that, I don't know if she thought, oh, he would be with her, right? But at the same time, she also knew that, that Lewis and Jax had separated at some point, right? That there were some problems. So it wasn't like it was just happy go lucky. So I think in the back of her mind, she's like, well, let me just wait this out. Yeah, I'll just be there. Yeah, I'll just be there when, I just come lay here.
Right.
If something happened, So I think that was in the back of her mind. And I think there was also a connection between them that she was trying to kind of hold on to. In addition, I also think that Lewis is a good guy, right? And I think that in some ways, keeping him around and knowing that he exists was something that Tony wanted. And I do think that when Jax kind of humiliated her on the stand, I think that angered Tony. So I always felt like from last season, Tony had a lot of anger there, and also grief. Yeah. And so that was, to me, the motivation for the lawsuit. But again, in the first episode, when the lawyer says, like, she wants some kind of closure. I think in general, usually what happens with people is that it's not about the thing that you think it's about.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she wanted Lewis to come over to do anything. I really think she was like, you didn't give me the emotional closure I needed. Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to force you to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we do see Lewis go about it in a very upstanding way. I mean, this season, honestly, it's just so good. Like, I seldom watch a show and every season is better than the last.
Oh, thank you.
Is that a goal for you going into this season? And then we're speaking season 4 into existence. Is that your goal? Like,
yeah.
What is your?
So it's always that's my goal. My goal is because I'm a TV watcher too, and it is true. You watch shows, and there are shows. I will say that I have watched that every season has gotten better, but then sometimes there's a peak and then it falls off or whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say that I do really like when I'm a fan of a show, and you're watching season 3 or 4 and you're like, wow, this is like the best season of the show. I remember I felt that the way about like Sex and the City, like I felt like we got into seasons 3, 4. I was like, oh, this keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like Insecure too. Like it just, so I feel like as a fan, I always try to think about what, as a fan of the show, what I want. And I would want to be excited about a show and then not be disappointed. So it's a hard bar, for any creator or showrunner to try to maintain that. But I do try to think about, what do the fans want? And also, I had some kind of, a few new writers come in this season. So that's always nice because you kind of get fresh voices and people who haven't been part of the process to bring, their kind of thoughts and creativity to stuff too. So it's a group effort for sure.
Well, the group is doing amazing. What do you think folks are going to be shocked at the most? You kind of touched on this where you said that, what you think it is might not be what you think it is. You might watch an episode and think you know where the story's going, but it's not. So what do you think,
Right.
like at the end, what do you think is going to be the
I think-
biggest shocker?
I think people will be shocked by the whodunit and also who's on the floor, who's Jack screaming out about in the first scene.
Wow.
All the way to the end. All the way to the end.
Really?
Yeah, all the way to the end. We had the crew was very invested, and we had a kind of a pool and a bet going, and I think only like two people in the whole crew got both right.
Really? What about the
they
actors? Like who out of the actors, who
They
was
didn't
like,
know.
oh, what? Like, did anybody
Yeah.
come back and was like, girl, this script, who is what? What's going on? Like,
Yeah, no, every week, yeah, they were like, "What? Oh my god!" They like, is it me? Is it I'd be like, just gotta see. I'm gonna say this to the very last frame of this season is it ends with a surprise too. So it's
wow,
surprises from the beginning to the end.
Ramala, you've done it again. Ramala, you've done it again. This is such an amazing show. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you.
I appreciate that. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's such an honor. And I mean, again, this show is so amazing. You want to remind the people where to check it out and how to support the show.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's September 18th on Hulu and Disney Plus. We dropped 2 episodes on September 18th, and then 1 episode a week on Thursdays until episode 10. Don't be behind, okay? Because you will get spoilers and you're going to be mad. And I don't want you to be mad.
Well, thank you so much, Raamla. You guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Just a Couple Things, y'all. Keep it locked right here because we've got Joseph coming right on in as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have a very, very special guest, okay? Just a couple things. We're backing up the 3rd season of Reasonable Doubt only on Hulu. Make sure that you're streaming that. And now for our very special guest. Y'all know this man. He really needs no introduction. He's an actor. He's a producer. Y'all know him from all that work he did on another series that we'll talk about briefly. But make some noise. Do a little virtual hand clap for the one, the only, Mr. Joseph Sikora.
Hey, I like that. I saw that zhuzh on there, that little Haitian zhuzh, little patois going on there. Joseph, I appreciate you. Good to be here, Jessie.
No, happy to have you. I had to bond with Joseph like off screen. We were talking about both living in New York. Joseph talked about being in Flatbush. I used to live in Flatbush. I let him know I was Haitian. He's been around the Haitians. So, sac passe, Joseph. How are you doing today?
Très bien.
Okay. So, listen, this season of A Reasonable Doubt is so fire.
Yes.
And I have to say, I mean, it's literally my favorite show on television, but this season really just stepped it up with you. I know that we're so used to seeing you in the Power Book series, Power, on Stars with 50 Cent. You did so well, but now we're seeing you play Bill in Reasonable Doubt. Tell me, how did this opportunity come about and what drew you to the character of Bill?
I am a fan of the show. It's only the 2nd time in my entire career that I got to join the cast of a show that I was already a fan of. The first time was when I joined the cast of Ozark. And then, so I was a fan. I'm a fan of Michael Ealy, who's a friend of mine. So I watched the first season, and I loved the first season. And then, of course, you have to watch it from Morris Chestnut as Corey Cash in the 2nd season. Because if you come for Morris Chestnut, you stay for Emiazzi Cornaldi, who is amazing, who plays Jackson. She can't say enough amazing things about her. She is just astounding and a quintessential #1 on the call sheet every step of the way. So when I was given the opportunity to join the cast, I got to meet with Raamla Mohamed and talk about the character. I loved the idea of Bill. Bill is really really structured in a way that a lot of the other characters that I'm known for, especially Tommy or Frank Jr. on Ozark or True Detective or Banshee or whatever, are these calculated guys, but on the other side of the law. Now, Bill is not exactly what he seems either. So there is, I don't want to say a duplicity because I think that Bill's aim is true and I think that he's an honorable guy. But just like everything that Ramala Mohammed does, everything is elevated. Nobody is one thing. Everybody is this multiplicity of not only personalities, but it's like what she does beautifully is that she puts people in a scene who are both fighting for the same thing totally differently. Or they're fighting for exact opposite things the exact same way. So it's incredibly complex. And Ramala Mohammed, she's just a master crafted storyteller.
My goodness. I mean, honestly, you said that perfectly. And you know what? I mean, having talked to her, she said that you were such a pleasure to work with. So it's so beautiful hearing you speak about her the same way and speak about your cast members the same way. I think that you all have an appreciation for each other's craft, and you can see that on screen.
I think you're 100% right. And also, I think that it always starts with the written word, but it just because something's amazing doesn't mean you have to tolerate bad behavior. And I know this is almost a non sequitur, but because Emiatsi and Ramala are such kind people that you can be intense and you can have these intense scenes and you can have, and all with a backdrop of kindness and consideration and appreciation. They truly treat the porter like the CEO every step of the way. It's the healthiest environment I think I've ever been in my 39 years in this career.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Amen.
Now, you know, so many people know you for Tommy. I mean, I'm pretty sure people walk up. Do people walk up to you and say, "Hey, Tommy"?
95% of the time.
So now folks are going to be introduced to Bill. And I wanted to ask you, what is the difference in the two characters and how did you prepare for this particular role?
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I trimmed down for Bill in a different way. I think Tommy was always a bulkier, kind of like, thuggy type guy. So I allowed Tommy to, lift and do kind of like and eat what he wanted. And for Bill, because he was so structured and came from this military background that Ramala said really will inform how you play the character the deeper you get into the special forces and the Coast Guard mindset that he started with and transitioned into law. Because when you're special forces in the Coast Guard, you have to learn hostage negotiation, maritime law. You have to learn a lot of craft before
My
you
Lord.
can before you can go into this specialized place. So he transitioned from that, graduated from Georgetown Law School, which is no small feat. And then he is where he is now, trying to become a partner in this law firm, kind of by any means necessary. He thinks he's doing it for one reason. He thinks he's doing it for himself and maybe for family. But he's just doing it. He's just doing it a little bit wrong, I guess as much as I can say. But he feels he's doing it right. So there's that wonderful innate conflict within the character.
One thing about you, Joseph, you're not just coming in and reading the script. Like, from what you just said, you're researching and you're like, listen, even down to the body, my appearance has to correlate with this role. Like, do you take that with you in every single role that you play?
I try to. I feel like there's certain physicalities within the structure of that guy. Just like Tommy, Tommy's got that swag. Tommy might be more have different parts that swing him from side to side, let's say, and maybe not all the characters have that. And then Bill is, very rigid and very, very up and down. And I think that it just helps. It's small enough, but it's enough where it helps the audience say, oh, I get that. I believe that. And even though this might be the case that people say, hey, that's the one where Tommy plays the lawyer. That's fine with me, because
Mm-hmm.
it's the one where he's the lawyer. And one other thing about Ramala Muhammad that I got to give another set of flowers for
Give
is
her
that
her flowers, boo. Give her her flowers.
she is so confident that she allows people to have suggestions. A lot of times when people are not as confident or self-aware, they're scared of when other people have ideas. No, this is my idea, and I'm the boss, and I say this is the way to go. Whereas Ramala Muhammad doesn't say yes all the time, but she's able to entertain whatever you say and either say, yes, that sounds great, let's do that, or no, because of A, B, and C. So she's so respectful to the craft of acting. It's amazing.
Okay, I know that's right, Ramala. Okay, let's get deeper into the role of Bill. So Bill comes into the law firm, and I must say, as a viewer, I'm side-eyeing Bill because it's like one moment Bill is cool, but then the next minute Bill is feeding into this initiative that it seems like the partners have to get Jax out. But then at the same time, you see Bill and Jax building rapport. And then I see moments where it looks like Bill is like having internal conflict with how he's moving within the firm. Can you speak to that? Do we trust Bill or nah? Like, what is Bill doing?
I think it's sometimes the question that Bill had to ask Bill is, does Bill trust Bill? Like, Bill thinks he's doing everything for his family. He thinks that he has to make partners so that the family is, but it's like, Bill, are you really doing it for the family, or are you doing it for you? So I think a lot of the times that when even down to when he thinks he's doing what's best for Jax, it's like, maybe Jax knows what's best for Jax. Even when he thinks he's doing what's best for Ozzy, it's like, are you doing what's best for Ozzy, or is that within the parameters of what it does actually for Bill? So there's a certain ignorant, because I think Bill is truly ignorant of sometimes of his own motives or his own action because of his motives. So it's a complex character. I mean, I think even in terms of Bill's family and Bill's family
Yeah,
structure,
I was going to
it
get to
adds
that.
another component to that. I think that even with Jax, how he responds to Jax, how he responds to the partners, whose side is he really on? What makes him up? It's a complex enough character, but you're not lost. It's still a human being, so you can follow Bill. But I would be wary of Mr. Bill Sterling.
That's what I'm saying, because I'm like, again, like as the viewers, what do you feel the message should be conveyed to viewers who are watching Bill, especially like, thinking of when you're in the workplace? Some of us have encountered a Bill. I'm pretty sure you've encountered a Bill or two.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's like, as viewers, what do you think you want to be conveyed to the viewer as far as like understanding someone with Bill's mindset?
Well, I think that, again, just the main thing to remember, just like Ramala Muhammad crafts beautifully with all of her characters, just like Lewis is a human being who made some tremendous errors, he's a human being. And I think that's the main thing to remember about Bill, that Bill isn't twisting his mustache. He's not a villain. He's not a guy with he's not going to necessarily come in heroically and save the day, though he might. But he's a human being at the end of the day with all 360 degrees of humanity in him. So he has faults and he has attributes, and they're equally balanced in an unbalanced way.
We learned that, things ain't what it seemed to be at home with Bill's wife. So there was one outing between Bill and Jax where he happily showed pictures of his wife, and she's like, "Oh, she black? You got you a little chocolate wife at home?"
Yeah.
But then we realized that, okay, everything's not copacetic at home. How do you feel Bill's home life affects the way he moves professionally?
I think that in Bill's mindset, it's affected 100%. That Bill feels like he's doing it again. He feels like he's doing this for the family. He feels that if he makes partner, he'll get his wife back. He'll get the children back. He'll get all this back. But maybe if Bill just focused on the family rather than the partnership to get the family, he might be in a better place. So again, it's conflict on top of conflict. It's mental conflict followed by physical action conflict that's going to make for a messy season, a wonderfully messy season, like all the seasons of Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah. When Bill's character first comes in, there's talks about, him becoming partner. And Jax talked about how it took her, I think it was 8 years, I believe. I can't remember. I think it was 8 years. And, Bill, it was already talked about, him moving up, and she was hesitant towards that. In your career, do you feel that you've encountered that sometimes, and how did you deal with that? Like, did you feel like there were moments where folks would be like, I mean, Joseph just got here. Why is he getting this
Right.
role already? Did he pay his dues? Have you ever encountered that, and how did you handle that?
300 million%. It's like stay in your lane, know your place sometimes. And I get it, but I think I get it almost from the other end, that when people are like, oh, why is Joseph in this position? Well, I've been in this career for 39 years. It took me 25 years in this industry before I got a lead role as Tommy on Power.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it's like, so you have to put in the work. So when people are like that, so sometimes, so like say when I have my own show, and you see sometimes, and I loved everybody in my cast, but every now and again, in different ways, in different states, not saying that anybody did it or didn't do it necessarily, but you see when people are really like hungry, and you're almost like, yo, don't be so hungry. Observe and know when. Have the skills to pay the bills when it's time. You got to be lucky, but then you got to have that luck be balanced with having those skills and being prepared to when they say, "Are you ready to go in?" You're like, "I'm ready. Let's do
Right.
it." You can't be too hungry because people can sense that. Like I always say, like I worked a little bit for my whole career until I got Tommy from Power. But one of the reasons I got Tommy from Power is I had just met my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and I finally had something that I loved more than acting. And for some reason, what that does is that it's just like it opens up the world to you, where you're like, you finally have that ability or confidence to say, no, I'm okay. Like that's not good for me. So, but this is good for me. I got my good thing, so I don't need you as much. And then people, when you don't need it as much, people are like, oh, wait, we need you. But we need you.
Wow.
So,
What's your sign?
Cancer.
I'm a Cancer too. What's your
Yeah, I
birthday?
love Cancer. We get along. June
We
27th.
get June
Yeah.
27th?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I see it. I feel it. So lastly, going from a character like Tommy to now
Mhm.
Bill. So you
Yeah.
have Tommy, who was kind of running from the law,
hmm
and then you have Bill, who is within within the law structure. What do you feel about just playing two different opposite roles like that? And ultimately, what do you want, your fans to take away from you playing this role?
Well, I think that their actions and how they go about their day is very different. But at the end of the day, Tommy and Bill are both very human beings, which transcends. So Tommy he's dealing copious amounts of drugs. He's running the streets, wetting people up, doing his thing. But at the same time, you see the heart of what makes him. He breaks down. He cries when he's alone. He's all of our id, the id and the ego and the super ego. He's the id. He's that animal thing that lives inside of all of us. So we all can all relate to Tommy. Whereas with Bill, I think that we all have good intentions in our lives, but how we go about getting those goals, we all have that goal that we want to get to, but how we get there is the human side of us. And we make mistakes and we make successes. And that's Bill all over it. Bill is going to get there. And both Tommy and Bill are going to succeed by any means necessary. But
Yeah.
how they do that is very, very different.
I love it. I love it. You know what? One last question. One last one.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene to shoot this season, and why?
Any scene with Emiatzi. She's an incredible scene partner. She just listens. She has a nuanced performance. She is exceptional. I mean, how she does those legalese monologue after monologue is impressive as all get up. Just really and truly, she's just a consummate professional. So I think a lot of the scenes with us are pretty elevated because I think the editors had a lot to work with on there because anytime I did something different, she responded different. Anytime she gave me
Good.
something different, I listened and did it different. So I just had a blast working with her. Any of those scenes.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Joseph, for coming through to Just a Couple Things to discuss Reasonable Doubt. I mean, honestly, this it's my favorite show. And one of
I
my
love
favorite
it
things
too.
about this, one of my favorite things about this show is every season gets better. And I think adding you was honestly just chef's kiss.
I
So
appreciate you, Jesse. Thank you so much.
thank you so much. Where do we follow you? Where do we support you? Do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. Follow me at Joseph Sikora 4 on Instagram and Twitter, and then Joseph Sikora J4F on TikTok. I'm new to the TikTok, so I'm like I got
Okay.
like very few followers, so I'm trying to figure it out. I'm a little technologically challenged, as you know firsthand. But yeah,
Child,
follow me
getting
follow
Joseph
me
in
on
here was a was a
follow me
doozy,
on
but
there,
we
and
got
then
him
the
in.
the main thing is Reasonable Doubt September 18th, and then Power Book 4 Force November 7th. But right now you get all Reasonable Doubt, and then you can go do the next thing. So that's what we got going on right now.
Well, thank you so much, y'all. Make some noise for Joseph Secora. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for supporting this episode and watching it and listening to this episode of Just a Couple Things, y'all. Your favorite podcast. Again, make sure that you are subscribed and following me on every platform that stream podcasts. Thank you so much to Raamla Mohamed, and thank you so much to Joseph Secora. Y'all, please make sure that you are watching Reasonable Doubt, now streaming on HULU. All right? And who do y'all want to see next? Drop down in the comments and let me know who do you want me to interview next from the cast. And you know what? Your wish just might come true, all right? Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you next time.
Chasing me like waterfall.